Okay, I'll be honest. When I started this challenge, I truly thought I could just copy a pro woodworker and get pro results. I figured, if I just mirrored their every move, I'd end up with something just as impressive. How hard could it be, right? I followed every move, every technique, right down to the way they set their tools on the bench. I even tried to match their rhythm, their confidence, and the way they seemed to know exactly what tool to grab next. For 7 days, I gave it my all. Let's just say, things got interesting. Every day brought a new lesson, and not always the kind I expected. Day 1, I was on fire. I felt unstoppable, like I'd cracked the code to woodworking greatness. Fast cuts, quick moves, everything looked sharp. I actually thought, wow, maybe beginners are just overcomplicating things. I was convinced I'd found a shortcut to mastery. But on day 2, I started cutting corners. I stopped double-checking my measurements because, hey, the pro didn't seem to need to. I figured, if they could eyeball it, so could I. My joints? They almost lined up. I convinced myself it was close enough. Spoiler, it wasn't. Those tiny gaps started to haunt me. By day 3, the cracks started to show, literally. Rushed cuts left tear out, glue-ups shifted because I was hurrying, and that little gap I thought sanding would fix? Yeah, it just got worse. Every shortcut I took came back to bite me. It looked okay from a distance, but up close, I could already tell. Something was off. The flaws were obvious, and I couldn't ignore them anymore. Day 4, I tackled hardwood just like the pros. No hesitation, heavy pressure, drill spinning fast. I thought confidence alone would get me through. The wood split instantly, not because the pros' method was wrong, but because I didn't have their timing or feel. I realized there's a subtlety to their touch that you just can't fake. Pros know exactly how far to push. Turns out I really didn't. Their years of experience let them sense things I completely missed. Day 5 was the breaking point, literally. My confidence was starting to crack, just like my projects. I built a joint, glued it, clamped it, all in record time. It looked solid, until the next morning, when it fell apart. That's when I realized speed isn't everything. That's when it hit me. Copying the moves isn't the same as having the experience. There's a world of difference between imitation and true understanding. On day 6, I slowed down. I decided to actually think through each step, instead of just going through the motions. Measured twice, pre-drilled, test fit every joint. Suddenly everything just felt better, tighter, stronger. The difference? Night and day. It was like I'd finally unlocked the real secret to woodworking. By day 7, the results were clear. The pro copy build looked cool on camera, but in real life, it failed. The flaws were obvious, and the shortcuts I took were impossible to hide. The slower, careful build? It lasted. It felt solid, and I could actually be proud of it. So here's what I learned, and what every beginner should hear. The real magic isn't in the flashy moves, but in the patience and attention to detail. You don't fail because you're slow. You fail when you rush before you're ready. Taking your time is what actually sets you up for success. Pro woodworking isn't about speed. It's about control and knowing your materials. It's about understanding the wood, the tools, and the process. If you're just getting into woodworking, don't just mimic the pros. Take the time to understand the why behind their every move. That's where real progress happens. If this helps you dodge a disaster down the line, hit subscribe, because next, I'm breaking down which pro techniques beginners should avoid altogether. See you there.